What's up, everyone? This is Jared and Nick from WhatCheers Beer Reviews, and tonight we're tasting a collaboration from Cigar City and Mikkeller. This is their Nielsbohrium.
Yep, this beer has been sitting in my fridge for quite a while now, actually. This was actually from my first ever beer trade with a very nice gentleman down in Florida who traded me CBS, and also, since he's next to Cigar City, he gave me my first Marshall Zukov and this. And at the time, I think this was really limited, and obviously more limited now. It's
retired.
It's retired.
I mean, it's not brewed anymore. It was brewed in the first half of 2011.
Yep.
So.
It says he wrote May 2011 on it, so it's got almost a couple of years on it at this point. Let's talk a little bit about the beer. What do you know?
It's a blend of two different beers, the Dirac and the Bohr, which are both sweet stouts.
Yep.
They were blended together, and they were both spiced stouts made with raisins.
It said raisin and spices, yeah.
Right, so this is a blended Imperial Sweet Stout with cinnamon and raisins that's aged in rum barrels. And what we found is the rum barrels are Flor de Caña rum barrels. I thought that was pretty cool because I've been drinking Flor de Caña all weekend long.
Yeah, but you were just telling me it's a nice rum, you said.
Right, it's a pretty good rum. It's very dried fruit, so I think it'll work perfectly with this. The flavor's fresh in my mind, so I'm interested in tasting it.
Yeah, and like I said, I kind of forgot I had this, so I'm even more excited to get into it now. And you know, as we said, I guess it's a Mikkeller Cigar City collaboration. Two really cool breweries. Obviously, Mikkeller is kind of a gypsy brewery, and Cigar City is putting out some of the best barrel-aged beers on the market now.
Definitely.
So, let's dive right in.
So, when it poured, I mean, we poured it. I mean, obviously, it's got almost 2 years age on it now. Almost no head. Pretty much no head at all.
There is some carbonation when you swirl it. Like, you get a little bit of that fizz.
A little bit of bubbles to it, but no head formed at all. We poured it very gently, too. Black as night.
Look at this thing.
Dark staining. I mean, the glass is almost stained like a light brown yellow when you twirl it around.
So. I really haven't. I mean, they're known to have really dark stouts. Marshall Zukov for one, but this is really insane. So black.
Yeah. What I forget to mention during the intro was that it's also 10% alcohol.
Yes, it is.
10 even. So, I mean, you get a little bit of legs in this, but, you know, that's to be expected.
There's some lacing going. I mean, the lacing is kind of hanging around. It looks really big and sticky, and it's probably going to be a huge beer.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get an aroma.
All right. Wow, that's super
super God, boozy. Jeez, it's so boozy. Wow. Yes, it's got actual alcohol heat to the nose. It has that big sweetness to it. I'm definitely getting the raisin, the spices.
Rum-soaked raisins right up front.
Big rum-soaked raisins,
and I'm very glad that I picked up that bottle of rum now for Snowstorm Nemo, because that flavor is so ingrained in my memory right now that that's exactly what I'm pulling out of this.
They weren't messing around. I'm guessing the rum barrels they aged in were pretty, they weren't dry.
No.
There's a lot of rum going on in this.
Yeah, it's like a very dried fruit kind of rum notes to it.
Yep.
Big, super boozy.
Big, dark, rum-soaked raisins.
Rum raisin is the first thing I get in this, easily.
Maybe some chocolate, some sweet kind of chocolate, sugary kind of boozy.
Digging for it, I think I get a little bit of the cinnamon.
Yep.
But it might have faded a little bit.
I'm sure the cinnamon has faded a lot, but it smells like a big, very interesting beer. Let's go ahead and
cheers.
Yeah. Wow, that's really nice. It's definitely not as offensive with the alcohol as it was in the aroma on the palate.
I still get a lot of boozy notes on the palate, but I don't. It's not offensive. It's just you get a lot of that rum flavor, a lot of that kind of high alcohol taste to it, but it's not in a bad way. It's warming. It's rummy. It's kind of what you expect.
Yep. It's very complex. It does have a lot of what we said in the aroma. Yeah, I'm getting that dark fruit, the rum-soaked raisins, but I am actually getting a lot of the chocolate. I'm getting a lot of that roastedness, like roastiness, I should say.
Chocolate malt.
Yeah. Yep, a lot of chocolate malt.
What it reminds me of, completely different, but the alcohol reminds me of it. Reminds me of Bourbon County. like that same kind of very low carbonation.
Very low carbonation, yeah.
Very boozy, dried fruit notes to it.
Chocolatey.
Right. Completely different because it's
and smooth.
It's different, but
it is different.
It does remind me of Bourbon County.
Yep, and I think it might have been better to drink fresh just because of the spices that have probably, and they kind of seem like they've mostly fallen off.
Yeah, a little bit. The cinnamon and everything. I still get the raisin, I still get the rum, but I think the cinnamon and the spices have fallen off a little bit.
That would have been fun to try, but nonetheless, it's a really good beer. It's definitely not like anything I've ever had before. I don't think I've ever had a rum barrel aged beer before, so this is really cool.
I've seen a couple of them around. I know we have a couple in the cellar.
Yep.
But I don't think we've tried any of them or reviewed any of them yet. So.
No, we have not. And for being almost 2 years old, it held up quite well. Carbonation's really low. It's pretty viscous, as you might expect.
Yeah, definitely.
It's silky smooth, though, going across the palate. I think I can really see where Jared's coming from with the Bourbon County, because it does have a lot of those similarities to it.
Right.
Yeah. I'd say the best way to sum this up would be, really nice barrel-aged, like silky smooth, kind of creamy stout, which finishes with a nice roastiness to it.
I almost get, this might sound weird, but kind of in the same way that coffee gives you a little bit of acidity on the palate.
Yeah.
It's got a touch of like tang kind of acidity to it. I think that's coming from the alcohol.
Yeah.
But it's not a sour. It's not sour at all.
It's not offensive.
It just has a slight tartness,
tang.
like I said, in the same way that coffee does.
Very.
I would never describe coffee as sour.
Right.
But it has some acidity to it. Yeah.
I would agree with that. I would also say there's a bit of nuttiness kind of left in the aftertaste for me. But yeah, it's a really solid, almost 2-year-old barrel aged sweet stout, and it is a little bit sweet. You have to like sweet beers. A little bit,
yeah.
It's kind of sugary sweet, in a nice way. It's not.
There's not bitterness to balance it out.
There is,
and I think that's where that tang comes in too. Is the acidity, which I still want to mention is mild, but it balances out that sweetness.
You're really pulling that out. I can see that. Yeah, but for in the most part. It's a great barrel-aged stout.
Really cool.
Ratings on this.
96 from BeerAdvocate and 100 from RateBeer.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I think I'm probably going to go... I think I'm going to go 94 on this one.
94?
94. Okay. I really like it. I don't know if there's actually much I would really want more of, except for the spices, which have faded, obviously, because it's 2 years. But other than that, I actually think it's phenomenal. And it's definitely a sipper, guys. You're not going to want to drink this one too fast.
Yeah.
Even for 10%, there's a lot going on. You know, I think it comes across a little bit more than 10%.
It does.
But it's not. And it still works.
Which is why I was surprised about why it reminds me so much of Bourbon County, which is a 15% Imperial Stout.
Mm-hmm.
This is only 10%, and it still kind of has that high alcohol flavor to it, in the best way possible, just that feel.
Yeah, and it's not too bad to drink. Like, no, it's great.
It's good.
It's great.
My rating on this would probably be 92, 93.
Yeah.
Probably 92, to be honest with you. I think it was outstanding. I loved it.
It's definitely different too, isn't it?
It's different.
It's a little bit different.
The rum adds so much different flavors than you get from bourbon barrels.
I agree.
That it's really cool. Like you said, I wish we drank it fresh. I wish the spices were a little bit stronger.
Even when I got it, the spices might have been faded, but
even the carbonation I think would have been a little bit higher at the time, and I think that all would have come together to make a really great beer. But it's still fantastic. If you still have a bottle of it, I would say drink it.
It's not going to get any better.
No, drink it. Drink it whenever you can. So.
Yeah. If you guys have had this, I know it was really limited, but yeah, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Or if you had either one of the solo beers that went into this.
Yeah, the Bohr or the Dirac.
Yeah, because those were both collaborations, and then this was the blended version, and then barrel aged. So
yeah,
let us know if you've had any of those and what you thought, and that's what we think about this. And that's the Nielsbohrium.
Yeah, Nielsbohrium.
From Cigar City, Mikkeller, 2011. All right, guys. Comment, subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.